Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Today we're going to be talking about the current content drought in the Division 2 and why I think it follows the patterns that we've seen before in either the past game or even past patches that have come with the entirety of the Division franchise. Now, I make a lot of my predictions based on some of the things that I've learned from the old game, so sometimes when I make mention of certain things, I would encourage you not to be alarmed because many people might say, how are you be able to say these things without any evidence? It's not necessarily that is without evidence, it's more of the fact that it seems Massive is somewhat following very strictly a set schedule and a set timetable for the way they do things. And so for the most part, if you follow these patterns from the Division 1, you're most likely going to get the correct hypothesis or the correct theory because it's just what they've been doing for a while. And looking at this current content drought, and when I say content drought, I mean nothing really new in terms of content. We're doing seasons. Yes, we got the summit, which was kind of free for Warlords of New York players. It seems to, in my opinion, kind of, mimic the patch title update 6.1 content drought. If you guys remember, as of December of last year, the developers were actually, talking about some hardcore mode. They actually dropped this mode somewhere around there, and players were able to play this hardcore mode, which is a mode where you set up a character, or still is anyways, and that character can play the entire game, and if the character dies, it's permadeath. Now, I remember Massive actually making a caveat saying that this mode was made by a team of people who were working on this piece of content, and it did not take away from the support that the game was still receiving. I remember making a video and I criticized this heavily and said, why not just, ignore this mode and put that effort towards making the year 2 content? But at that point, we didn't even know that there was a year 2 content coming out. All I had were videos about hypothetical possibilities that we would get to New York. And yes, I was correct in that one. And you guys in the community, some of you also saw that coming. And I think we're probably at that point right now. Now, this position, though, is probably going to stretch a little longer than, that particular hardcore mode to Warlords of New York release, because we have the codename Nightmare project, which I don't think that project is going to be the big heavy content release that we've been kind of lagging or waiting around for. I think what we're going to be looking at is a 2021 release or 2021 announcement for this big new year 3 content. I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing coming soon, because again, I'm following the pattern from the Division 1, and I remember that one of the Christmas seasons in the Division 1, they brought out some, holiday content, but that content was not necessarily a big deal. I think it was a small patch. It wasn't necessarily something that really, resonated in a large part anyways to the community. So what we're seeing right now is Massive basically doing what we call leveraging this content drought. Now, games like this, MMO or MMO style RPGs, will do stuff like this in order for them to give themselves some more time, position themselves properly, even take some time to just maybe recoup, and then leverage and schedule their content to come out in a time where there isn't a lot of competition. Anyone that's bringing out content right now is probably a game developer who understands their own community and their base and their audience. If you've noticed, a lot of games have basically run away because of the Cyberpunk 2077 release. They've all pushed their development and their release cycles even further down the road. Only a few games are coming out with things like, new characters. In the case of Mortal Kombat 11, the Combat Pack 2, I think that's what it is going to be coming out on the 17th of November. So basically 2 days before Cyberpunk 2077. But that project already knows its community. The fighting games community is a very, very niche community where many fighting game players will play other games, but they always make sure that their fighting games are up to date. So these are the companies and publishers that are still, in my opinion, leveraging the holiday season. But because of the Division's position right now, it's not going to try to compete. Also, they don't want to be stepping on the heads of other Division franchises as well, because if you look at even in the next, I would say few days, Watch Dogs Legion is going to be coming out, and then in November, we're also going to be getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then in December, there's a promise of, Phoenix Rising, the Immortals game. So I don't see where Massive is going to be bringing out any new content in the middle of all this stuff. Maybe they'll bring a small, short seasonal content teaser, perhaps just like they did with Coney Island. If you guys remember, Coney Island was the short teaser before Warlords of New York. I think Fei Lao and the Codename Nightmare event is the teaser before the year 3 content. And this is just following, like I've said, the different patterns that we've seen in the, just in the past, and even real close, not even far from each other. And that's one of the really interesting things that keeps me covering this game, because I'm a person that doesn't really like surprises. And so it's nice for me to be able to kind of look and visualize based on past happenings, to be able to see, oh, perhaps, or guess. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to guess correctly. Who knows? I may be off. I may be wrong. But it still kind of helps me to gauge in a realistic sense how long I'm still going to be playing this game. And from what we're seeing, it seems like many of us are probably still going to be playing this game for a while. Now, yes, I can guarantee that by November, when Cyberpunk 2077 is out, a lot of players are going to eventually migrate over there, but it's not going to be too long before we start itching for some Division game. Yes, I know someone's going to be in the comment section saying there's no way I'm itching for the Division game. I get it. It's always the same, story I hear from a lot of Division agents, but they still show up again. I've seen comments of people saying the game's a dumpster fire, this game is this game is that. But, if people are taking their time to comment on videos like these, then I think they still have a little bit of love for the game. Even though they may be frustrated, even though they may have been, disappointed, I think their disappointment is genuine, because they understand that the game may not be meeting, in my opinion, or in their opinion, their own, standards. And that's one of the really big challenges about games like these. If the Division was just a 30-hour or 40-hour campaign or 45-hour campaign with no multiplayer, I don't think it will even be as popular as it is. It will probably serve a niche audience, but all of the aspects of replayability and stuff have to be leveraged, and this game has done it out the door. If it wasn't a worthy or worthwhile enterprise, many companies would not be copying it. If you look at Sucker Punch right now, they brought their Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and everyone is saying, yay, free content, free update. It came with the price tag of the game, just like the Division as well. Now, yes, I can see where, the Warlords of New York DLC and the other DLCs that the Division brought out may be something that people can argue against, but this is their second game, and in the first game, we supported it as long as it was good content. The downside is we're looking for that similar content, and I am hoping that their year 3 announcement is going to be something that actually hits that, that itch, that actually addresses that need from the community. But anyways, that's pretty much my thoughts so far on this content drought. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think I'm just, being super optimistic or hopeful like I've heard many times? Or do you think that perhaps because of the way they've done things in the past, they're going to copy that same pattern and we're going to see something else? I want to hear what you have to say, and I'll be reading the comments. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Peace.